All right, yeah. Whenever you're ready, we're just gonna roll it straight through so you guys have a conversation.
Make sure can you hear me?
Yeah, no, it's loud.
Chris Cooper asked, is it tougher to compete in public as one of the original stars?
No. At first I thought it would be, but I actually really enjoy it because I feel like I have a lot of support from the crowd.
Chad Carver asked, what keeps you motivated to compete every year?
The fun that I have. It's still just so much fun for me, and even though it's a lot of hard work, I enjoy the hard work that I'm putting in, and I enjoy myself so much when I'm competing and most of the time when I'm training, so definitely the fun keeps me motivated.
Michael Schweitzer asked, do you have a different diet, eating habits before, after, and when you are competing?
Not much. I maybe try to be a little bit more strict around when I'm competing, but for the most part, the way I'm eating now, I really enjoy, which is like 95% paleo, and so it's not like I feel like I need to go off of it. I enjoy the way I eat. I enjoy the way I feel, so I have no need to change it.
How do you do such a good job at keeping your focus? Is that something that comes naturally to you? Have you had to work on it?
I'm constantly trying to work on keeping focus. I think we all need to do that. I don't, say the question again. Wait, what was the first one? Yeah,
so the first
yeah, how's the focus?
Yeah, right. You're really good at it, okay.
You're great at keeping what?
So how do you keep such good focus is the first part of the question. And you kind of answered that, right?
Yeah, I guess just from practice. And so then I'm always trying to practice keeping focus.
Well, does it come naturally, or have you had to work on it over the years?
I'm probably working more on my focus now than I have in the past. And I actually started meditating pretty much every day to try to help me keep focus.
So you work on it a lot.
I am now more than I ever have before, yeah.
George Talavera, what goes through your mind, or what are the words you tell yourself when you're doing a WOD to keep you going?
You know, it's funny, I think a lot of times my mind just goes blank during the workouts, which is probably a good thing because I'm not always thinking about so much how bad I feel or how bad, how much I want to be done. And then what I try to do is just, if I am thinking, if I'm cognizant, is just stay in the moment. So instead of thinking about the next task or the next workout, just keep my mind on the task at hand.
Nancy Gong, you must know that you inspire other people. Who inspires you?
My family and my clients here at the gym. You know, I see their dedication. They come in every day and are excited about the workouts and keep track of their workouts, and that's really inspiring to me.
Sarah Lynn Weber, what's your favorite lift?
That's a hard one. Probably the back squat. Yeah.
Cindy Young, as one of the first ladies at CrossFit, you've been there through all the evolution of the sport. Where do you see it going in the next 5 years? Here's another part of the question.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you.
You don't want to mess up my focus.
Is what we're trying to concentrate on.
It's hard to know where it would be in 5 years because 5 years ago, I never would have guessed it is where it is now. So it's pretty hard to predict, but obviously I would say, you know, pretty close to a mainstream sport. Right now I'd still say, I mean, I think it's heading closer to a mainstream sport, but it's still a little bit fringe, which I like. I like that it's got a little bit of edge to it, but I think it's hedging towards becoming a lot more of a mainstream sport.
And this is just my question because, you know, it's probably pretty stupid.
I don't have time for you.
do you plan on still being part of it in 5 years?
Definitely.
And then, I don't know, there's a little side note. Then I'd like to thank her for being one of my 15-year-old daughter's CrossFit role models. So just
Wow.
wanted to thank you.
I appreciate that.
Joseph Dodson, what is CrossFit?
The $1 million question. That is the $1 million question. And right now it has a $1 million answer.
Cindy Hudson. Wow, where would I start? I made my CrossFit coach hang a picture of her on the wall in a box that I look at every day when I go in to work out. I want to know what system works best for you with strength training.
We've tried a couple of different systems, and so I guess for me it's constantly mixing it up, not being glued to one system. I personally like intervals, but we've done some more just strict kind of strength training stuff as well, and that's really helped me. So I'd say a combination of different things.
So that was the Facebook questions. Good?
Yeah, well, I stopped and started, so I can send it in increments.
Okay.
You good?
So these are just straight from box line.
Okay.
Give us a little background on how you found CrossFit. What impact has it on your life?
So I used to take a hip hop dance class years ago, and Eva T, the infamous Eva T, was somebody that was in the class as well. We took it from a lady who's now my sister-in-law, and I was teaching cardio kickboxing at the time as well, and Eva told me, you know, I want you to try CrossFit. I've been doing it for a while. I think you'd really like it. And I was thinking, I heard people puke. I don't want to do it. But she said, no, come in and just do a personal with me. And so I did a personal session with her, and she had me do 3 rounds of 10 deadlifts at 65 pounds. We had a pommel horse at the original CrossFit. Back then, it was 10 pass-throughs on the pommel horse, and then a 400-meter run. And I didn't know what a 400-meter run meant in CrossFit, so I just jogged the 400, did my deadlifts, you know, was decent at the pass-throughs, and was like, this CrossFit thing isn't that bad. I can do this. So and my husband had done it maybe even a year earlier than that with his brother and Greg. And so I went home and I told him, yeah, I did CrossFit. And he said, oh, I've done it. I'd go do a class with you. So we came back maybe 2 days later and did the 7 a.m. class that Lauren was teaching, and Greg. And I remember that workout. The second workout I ever did was a 500-meter row, I think like 20 kettlebell swings, 30 air squats, 3 trips over the cargo net, and you weren't supposed to touch the ground in between trips, and then 25 glute ham sit-ups, 3 rounds. Greg set us off at a staggered start, so you were trying to not let the person behind you catch up to you, but you were trying to catch the person in front of you. And I did, excuse me, I did it all, and I did all 75 glute ham sit-ups all the way to the ground and all the way back up. And next day I was pretty sore in my stomach. The day after that I was so sore I couldn't laugh, cough, sneeze, fart, burp, anything. I couldn't bend forwards, backwards. And then by the next day my belly was like distended. I was so tore up. And I remember telling my husband, like, you need to take me to the hospital. I think I have a hernia. And he was like, let me talk to Greg and Lauren. And he went in there like, please don't take her to the hospital. And as soon as I recovered from that, I was hooked.
And what year would that be? If you could put a number on
I think it was 2004. I'm pretty sure.
You found a certain level of success in this sport. What would you attribute that to?
My love for it.
Last year you won the Spirit of the Games Award. Tell us a little bit about that and what it means to you. It was a huge honor, mainly because of the company that I'm with when it comes to the winners of the Spirit of the Games, Spieler and Kalipa, and just to be in a group like that is an honor. And it was really nice because I don't feel like I did anything out of the ordinary for what I normally do, for who I am, and so to be given that award for just doing what I naturally do was a nice affirmation of the fact that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm doing what I love, and it shows. What hurdles have you had to overcome since you found CrossFit, as an athlete and as a
To be honest, I don't feel like I've had to overcome a lot of hurdles of a woman. I feel like the sport is very embracing of women, and maybe more so. I've never been in any other mainstream sports, but maybe more so than other sports. I think that the women's competition is as honored and given attention to as the men's. And then as far as hurdles in life or in general, it's probably just being able to balance family, work, fun, friends, because I'm very committed to CrossFit, all aspects of it, as my job, as an athlete. But I have to remember to balance that out with family and the other things in my life.
I was about to say that I think the women are more impressive than the men. I'd rather watch the women because what you guys are doing, you beat a lot of the guys. Like, the girls can beat the guys, and not maybe not on the competition floor, but in general, in the general public.
Right.
Just even coming in here.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to Jerry about that the other day, saying I'd rather watch the women because it's amazing what they do. The same movement. You guys do the same amount of muscle ups. You guys,
Right. Yeah. And I think that the women are given a lot of credit for what we do in the sport, and I really like CrossFit for that. Like I said, I think we're honored just as much as the men. So, yeah.
You inspire a lot of people, in particular women, both the ones trying to make it to the games and the ones who somehow find time to get in a WOD while working a full-time job, raising 2 or 3 kids. What advice do you have for each of these groups of women?
Managing your time is probably what keeps me being able to do what I'm doing. And again, it's a balance between doing what I want to do, doing what I need to do, and then everything else that comes along with it. But managing my time also for me means making sure I'm resting enough, eating right, sleeping right, and getting in like playtime, so that it's not just CrossFit and it's not just family, but that I'm going to the beach and going for a paddle or whatever it is. I think that's imperative to myself, both as just an everyday athlete, as an everyday CrossFitter, as a everyday CrossFit trainer, and as a competitive athlete.
And how do you work all that in with having a couple of 2 kids? Do you have 2 kids?
I have 2 kids. I have one that's 5.5 and one that's 3.5. I have this babysitter nanny, Coral, this wonderful girl. She's only 20 years old, and she's so on it, and she's so good with my kids. I couldn't be doing it without her. She allows me to do a lot.
So you're telling me you didn't hire the people that ran up to you on the beach?